Hi, Gabi here from Ray Studios, and today I'll be reviewing the Canon EOS R6. I'm starting this review where everyone left off, and hopefully I will address all your concerns. So I myself watched many reviews before I bought this camera, and I was terrified to the point that I got to test it for myself. Many of the reviews I watched have completely opposite opinions. These are the reviews I watched: Monkey Pixels, DP Review, and Potato Chat. And obviously the most scary review out there is Potato Chat. The autofocus is terrible in that video. I have personally did not experience that problem. That being said, I noticed that the camera likes to focus on whatever is closer to the lens. Not very intuitive, but definitely very fast and accurate autofocus. There is also tracking with continuous AF during video and pictures, and that works pretty well. Now let's talk about codecs. So the R6 can only shoot in IPV compression. There are basically two concerns about that. First, image quality. Because it's highly compressed, there might be a drop in quality, especially in complex video where there is a lot going on. But the image quality is great. Haven't noticed any difference to all eye compression. And to be honest, the H.265 10-bit 4:2 is amazing and grades almost as good as the compressed RAW on my Pocket 6K. The other concern about the codec is editing, and this is a bit more complicated. 4K 60p 8-bit is playing fine in both my PC and Mac. You can see both my PC and Mac specs on the screen for your reference. The problem comes with the H.265 10-bit 422. In 4K 60p will only play well in Final Cut Pro. I'll have to transcode everything in the PC. With 4K 24p 10-bit, it plays well in Premiere, DaVinci and Final Cut. But as soon as you add a couple of layers or effects, it'll start to slow down again. If you're a Final Cut user, you'll probably have less issues with these codecs, especially in the N1 processor. In many videos, included Peter McKinnon and Matti Haapoja, when they're vlogging with either the R6 or the R5, you'll notice a disturbing amount of wobbling. And that's because of the IBIS, which is actually pretty good. Well, they forgot to mention that the wobble will only happen when you use an ultra-wide angle lens, which also have IS on. So all you have to do is turn off the IS on the lens. The only lens that cannot turn IS without also turning the IBIS is the RF 15 to 35mm f2.8. So the disturbance wobble will only happen with that lens. Any other lens is fine. Now let's talk photography and picture resolution. 20 megapixels. This may not seem like a lot, especially when my phone can do 64 megapixels. But if you've been in photography as long as I have, you'll know that 20 megapixels is plenty. I started out with a Canon 5D Classic. That camera was the best camera money can buy at the time, and it was only 12 megapixels. You also may be wondering, how does it compare to the 30 megapixels of the Canon EOS R? And it's actually much better. More dynamic range, better highlight roll-off, so much better in low light, better autofocus, and not to mention way better ergonomics. This camera feels really good in your hand. Now let's talk about the most scary thing and what held me back from buying this camera for a long time: colors. Pretty much everyone complained about the colors of the R6. Basically, they're just too warm. But when watching Potato Chat video, the colors looks completely unusable. Total rubbish. The reality is the colors are actually very nice, but with a few caveats. First, the white balance sometimes is a little bit off, but it's not alarming. The Kelvin calibration also seems off. For example, if I set my lights at 4000 Kelvin, maybe my camera I have to set the white balance at 3600 Kelvins. It's a bit strange. I compare it with other cameras, and I'm not being like a scientific exact number here, but yeah, it's a little bit off, but just a little. People are still hopeful that this issue will be addressed in a future firmware upgrade. And last but not least is the infamous overheating. Currently it's winter where I live. Average temperature outside is about 15 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees Celsius, and I haven't ever seen any overheating warning so far. I shot plenty of video with it and could never get it to overheat, even at 4K 60p 10-bit 422. I seen Potato Chat made it overheat by putting in an incubator. That's something you might consider if you're planning to shoot inside an incubator, I guess. To be honest, I'm quite happy with the R6, and it has been a really nice upgrade from the EOS R. Hope this video was somehow helpful to you and help you make a purchase decision. As usual, links in the description down below. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.